Hi everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. We're live for the Champions League draw and also your normal Manchester United, latest Manchester United morning news. Sort of well, it's not quarters, it's a nice situation to be in. Actually, it's nice to be back live for the first time in a few days in the studio. Obviously, it was live last night with Adam and Beth and Ricky, but live in the studio with you good people for a Champions League draw, which is something we always all wanted to be in. So 11 o'clock is the time that the draw will happen. We expect it to be quite a quick draw. Obviously, the first Champions League draw of the season is the one where they do the group stage and they give an award out every time they draw somebody out. We expect it to be a little bit quicker today because it is just the knockout stage draw from 11 o'clock. But we've got some Manchester United news to bring you before we do all that. We'll also be giving you the teams that we can get, which I'll do now. So Man United can get Salzburg, they can get Benfica, they can get Lisbon, they can get Inter, they can get PSG, and they can get Atletico Madrid. So there are 7 possible teams that we can get. Sorry, 6 possible teams that we can get today. And Salzburg would be my pick, the easiest one of the lot. It doesn't mean it will be easy. I don't actually want PSG, which is really weird for me because normally I'm like, yeah, bring on the hardest team. But I'm just like, do we want the biggest, hardest team or do we actually want to try and win a trophy? And look, in the model of Manchester City, they get very good draws and end up in the deep end of the competition. I want to be in the deep end of the competition. And I think to do that, we're not good enough to beat PSG, Bayern Munich, Man City and Liverpool to win this tournament. If we're going to win this tournament, it's very unlikely. But if we're going to win this tournament, we need to avoid the big teams as long as we can. We can beat a big team on our day, but we're not going to beat 4 big teams on our way to the final. So we need to be getting the easiest draw on paper that we can do all the way to the semi-final, and then it would be great. Haven't had this feeling in almost 4 years, says Lucas. Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to be in the Champions League knockout stage because we've not always been in the bloody Champions League since Sir Alex Ferguson left. So Lucas is excited. Thanks for the super chat. Mark is early. Mark's actually late today. We're normally live at 10 o'clock with the morning show, but because of the Champions League draw, we're sort of combining the two of a news show and a Champions League draw. When would the first games be, Mark Barry? They will be in February. And morning, Mark, you get a big gap between this. So you play the first leg and then the second leg's not for 3 weeks. That's how it works with the Champions League first knockout round. Morning, Mark. Hope we get Salzburg in the draw. Don't forget about the chart show this weekend, says PA. That's not a bad idea. And Tom Walker, thank you for joining the members club. Really appreciate that. If you want to be a member and get your badge next to your name, you can do that by clicking the members button. Or if you want to get a chat read out, do it through the super chat. I don't mind if we get Inter. I don't mind if we get Benfica, Sporting Lisbon. Salzburg would be the plum draw. And I agree with what Ricky said last night. It'd be nice if we got an easy draw and everyone else got a hard draw. Depends whether you want to win the tournament or whether you want to be entertained, really. I think some United fans really want PSG because it's a big game and it's Ronaldo versus Messi. I get that. But I actually wouldn't mind going deep into this tournament. So I would like the easiest draw. Is there potential that Rangnick's tactics would work better against a better team that would attack us and leave spaces rather than a low block, says Aram? Well, whatever's going to happen with Rangnick, the great thing, hopefully, is that he'll have been in charge for 3 months by the time we even play in the Champions League. We'll have had the January transfer window as well. So you would expect us to be a better team by the time that time comes around. Talking of which, we are going to be speaking to Fabrizio Romano this afternoon about a whole host of things. That could well be live. But let me just bring you some news on this. So we don't know what's going on with Manchester United in relation to Brentford tomorrow at the moment. Brentford have done their press conference. There is a belief that this game will go ahead. But United are going to train later on this afternoon. They normally train this morning. And there is no scheduled press conference with Ralf Rangnick yet. So we're sort of up in the air as to what's happening with this Brentford game. Personally, for me, I think we should be playing this game. We have got an absolutely massive squad. We should not be in a position where we are saying we want this game to be cancelled because we've got 30 players, really. We've got 30 players we can use, so we should be playing this game. So we'll keep you up to date with that. But what we have got is we have got Fabrizio Romano interview this afternoon where we're going to be talking about Martial, Pogba, Donny, signings, incomings, outgoings, staff for Rangnick. So that will be coming up this afternoon. Obviously, if we get the press conference, we'll react to that first, and then we'll do the Romano thing a little bit later. But we have got that for you this afternoon. And the reason I mention that is because David Ornstein, who's a very good journalist, currently working for Athletic, was formerly of the BBC. He's come out with something this morning which is very, very interesting about Babacar Kamara of Marseille, who is a midfielder that we've sort of I've mentioned him tentatively in the past. I know a lot of you have, well, not a lot of you, some of you have mentioned him a lot more. But the story is basically this. He says that, let me just find the story for you. Kamara from Marseille is under consideration. This is from David Ornstein as one of the traditional, and Manchester United are also across the situation as they weigh up possibilities to bolster their midfield. He's also of interest and consideration at one of the traditional top 4 Premier League clubs and Manchester United. So that's from David Ornstein, linking us to Boubacar Kamara, who I don't actually know how old he is. I mean, look, we've been hearing a lot about Hedera recently, but Kamara is well liked. He's currently 22. He's only just 22 as well, so that will probably appeal to a lot more people. And also mainly a defensive midfielder, also can play as a centre back. I mean, I've not seen loads of him, to be honest. I'm not going to pretend on that one. But I certainly know of him and know that he'd be an interesting signing for Manchester United. So it's nice that we're getting linked to those sort of players. I mean, whether we're just being linked to those sort of players because we want a midfielder or not, I don't know. But then again, David Ornstein's not the sort of... David Ornstein's not a clickbait sort of journalist. He doesn't do things just because, that'll make me get loads of clicks on my article. Slightly off topic, says Liam Devon Red, but before you write silly tweets about F1, I recommend you educate yourself with information beforehand. Liam, I suggest, you're a prime example of you think you can spend a fiver and try and humiliate me on a morning show. I've been watching F1 probably before you dropped out your mum's chuff, mate. So I know a lot about F1. I was watching F1 the day Ayrton Senna died. So how many years ago was that? So I've been watching F1 for a very long time, and to be honest with you, I don't deal with arrogance anyway. Everyone's entitled to an opinion, so don't come at me on a Monday morning telling me that my opinion doesn't matter because yours is better than everybody else's. Jog on, Liam. You've made yourself look like an arrogant twat. You're obviously a Verstappen fan, and you can't deal with the fact that the race director yesterday broke the rules, made the rules up. And look, very well done to Max Verstappen, but he chose to break the rules. He made his own rules up on the final day. And some people think it's fine and some people think it's don't. But don't start coming out with definitive answers that you know better than anybody else. Your shit smells like the rest of everybody else, mate. So jog on with your silly, silly comments. I can't be doing with that. Swivel on it, so to speak. You're entitled to your opinion. You've put it across, but don't ever tell people that their opinion isn't valid. You just know we're going to get PSG, says Samuel. Yes, you do. Back onto the football, though. And look, I've got no issue with Verstappen winning the title, by the way. In many ways, he probably deserved it. It was just the way he won it. It was very much like, I think if you don't understand what happened with VAR, with Formula 1 yesterday, it was a title-deciding race. And the best description I've seen of it is, so Manchester United and Liverpool are fighting it out on the final day for the title. Manchester United are 10-0 up going into stoppage time, and the referee blows the whistle and says, we're going to change the rules now, it's next goal wins, and Liverpool score and win. That was basically what happened yesterday in F1. By the rules, they win it, but it just didn't seem right to a lot of people. But some people do like it, so whatever. Anyway, it's a football show. So, what I want to see happen is I want to see Chelsea, Manchester City, Bayern Munich and Liverpool get really hard games and us get Salzburg. That's what I want to see. So looking forward to seeing what happens with that. There is other news I just want to bring you as well. Just the Champions League draw is going to happen at 11 o'clock. So we're just going through some of the morning news at the moment. We're combining the morning show, which is at 10 o'clock every morning on the United Stand, with the Champions League draw, which is going to happen in about 20 minutes time. So as I've already said, we don't know whether we're getting a Ralf Rangnick press conference today. Normally the day before a game you would get it at about 1:30. United have not scheduled that at the time of asking. They've not trained yet. Now Samuel Luckhurst has said that they will train this afternoon. There is a bit of a COVID outbreak at Manchester United. We expect this is going to happen at a lot more clubs. Clubs desperately need to shut down and go back to what they were doing before, which is keeping their players on a tight leash in relation to being careful where they're mixing and things like that. At the end of the day, they're paid a lot of money, and it's not the time to be going to Christmas parties and stuff like that anyway. So there's a lot of games over Christmas, a lot of commitments, and you don't want to see United with a backlog of big games. But we've got a huge squad anyway, and look, I was talking to somebody about this today. I mean, imagine if we lost like 4 first-team players from the Norwich game with COVID. We could still play against Brentford. We could still play that game. We have got other options. So I would hope that game is still going to go ahead, because I don't want that game to have to get rescheduled later on in the season when we might be in the Champions League. We might be in a race for top 4. So get the game done is what I would say. And also, if we don't play against Brentford, we probably won't play against Brighton as well. People are saying, well, it's only Brentford, but we're playing Brighton in 5 days' time, so we'd probably have to miss that game as well. And then you've got 2 games that you're missing. So I would hope that we can get this game played. We will hear a little bit later on what is happening with that. But so we've been linked to Kamara. Just a few other bits. This is from The Athletics. Phil Jones is impressed Rangnick with his application in training. He won't impress him on the pitch, so I wouldn't worry about that. Phil Jones looking to get a move away from Manchester United, of course, as well. And as I said, Samuel Lucas, Manchester Evening News, has said that Manchester United are likely to train later ahead of travelling to Brentford, hence why it's quiet at Carrington at the moment. And that's if the game goes ahead. I can't say to you it is going to go ahead. Of course, I can't say that. It's I've got no inside information at all in relation to that one, but I do think that it would be good for Manchester United. Will be beneficial to get this game on. So we'll see what happens with that. But we are here for the Champions League draw. Let's have a quick look what people are saying in the chat. Hi Mark, thoughts on under 23s and under 18s, says Christian. Haven't, honestly, and I always try to be honest, haven't really paid much of attention to them this season. Did last year, maybe that was because of COVID and stuff, I don't know. But I think with the world, well, I hasten to not say this. I'm disappointed to have to say this because maybe we're heading back into restrictions. Certainly this bloody new virus strain looks like, they're talking about schools being closed again and everything, which means will we not have fans in grounds again? It's just so frustrating, isn't it? I think it's so frustrating, this COVID thing. I mean, what can you say about it? But I think with fans being back in the ground, it's sort of opened my eyes up to other leagues that I didn't really look at before. So I've sort of took my eye off the under 23s and under 18s. But we've got some very, very exciting players all the way through coming through, and we know a lot of these players anyway, the Charlie McNeils, the Joe Hugels, we saw Savage the other night as well, Iqbal. Then you've got the likes that you know of, the Shoretires, the Alanga, the Hannibals. So look, we've got some good players coming through, and I think that's an area that Rangnick will definitely be looking at. What do you think of Tim Sherwood's comments on Ralf that no one wanted him and United fans should calm down, to Surdeep? I mean, personally, I've been on Sky Sports and had criticism for going on Sky Sports. I don't speak for anybody. I'm no voice for anybody. I just have an opinion. But how anyone can moan about me going on Sky Sports and then Tim Sherwood's a regular pundit and a so-called expert, I mean, he talks out of his arse. I mean, I'm sorry to be that blunt, but he talks out of his arse. I think he wakes up in the morning and says, I'm going to say something stupid. And, I mean, the funny thing is, I was listening to Gary Neville after the Norwich game, and somebody sent a clip of it me, actually. I wasn't listening to him after the Norwich game. I was too interested in having another pint. But I got sent the clip, and it was like, there's Gary Neville sort of analysing Rangnick's tactics like a proper pundit, which is what he's not done for 3 years with his mate in charge. And it just doesn't sit right with me. I've sensed this straight away with Rangnick at Manchester United. There is a change in the way media and ex-players are assessing Manchester United. Now, if they'd been doing this all along, that's absolutely fine. But they did it with Mourinho, they did it with Van Gaal, and now they're doing it with Rangnick. But with Ollie, it was a free pass. No, we're not going to talk about tactics. No, we're not going to talk about why United are playing shit. We're just going to find other things to do. As soon as Rangnick comes in and Ollie's out, well, I want to know why they've got no energy, and you can't play like that. That's not going to work, and this, that. And I'm like, well, hold on a minute. We've just endured some of the shittest football we've seen in a very long time, and you've never ever analysed it to this extent. New manager comes in with inherent problems from previous manager. Well, I want to know why this. I want to know. He barely took his bloody coat off. You got to give him a bit of time. Loser Hamilton says City versus Atletico, Liverpool versus PSG, Bayern Madrid versus Chelsea, Man United versus Benfica would be the best situation. I'll have some of that. Any update on Lindelof? Bit concerning the way De Gea was speaking about it. Surely Bay needs to come back into the team to give him a break. Aram, the reason we didn't mention Lindelof last night and the reason we've hardly mentioned Lindelof is because it's such a serious matter potentially that you don't want to start speculating on something that might be absolutely fine. I mean, obviously with the likes of Aguero and Christian Eriksen, which was a lot worse, you do worry about this. Obviously he had a bit of an issue with a tight chest. I think he was struggling to breathe. So you automatically start thinking about heart conditions, and if it is something like that, then that's very, very, very serious for Victor Lindelof. But also, football, it could be a pulled muscle, it could be a lot of things. It could be asthma, it could be anything. So we'll wait to hear on Victor Lindelof what the situation is. But I think people do get very, very worried about this because it's very, very serious. But remember, there are how many footballers playing football every weekend all around Europe, and you are going to unfortunately get these sort of incidents because there's so many people playing football at such a high level, and we're all mortal beings. We can all have it's like a car, isn't it? We can all have a defect, and unfortunately these things are going to happen. But hopefully it won't be the case with Victor Lindelof. I mean, hopefully it won't be the case with any footballer ever. You don't want any footballer to have to retire like that. But I don't think we need to have that sort of conversation about Lindelof at the moment because we just don't know what happened and we don't know the severity of it. But I'm sure they'll be running a lot of tests, and those tests very quickly will find out if there is one of these conditions that an Eriksen's had or an Aguero's had. So hopefully not the case. Chris Kessler, I'm not going to turn this into a Formula 1 show, but he is saying that Hamilton was robbed. There you go. We don't want to get anybody else. But he does say Gary Neville needs to be stopped from commenting. He talks so much garbage. Well, fortunately, Kiss, with Gary Neville at the moment, he wasn't interested in getting Ole Gunnar Solskjaer out of Manchester United, far from it, but he's absolutely obsessed with getting Boris Johnson out as Prime Minister. So he spends most of his time talking about that at the moment. So I wouldn't worry about his opinions on United too much. And did you hear about the Norwegian Santa Claus, says Dipak. Is this... I'd be delighted to have you represent me as United stand viewer on Sky Sports. Keep up the great work, says Rich. Thank you very much. If the Norwegian Santa Claus, and I don't know whether we're talking about the same thing here, if the Norwegian Santa Claus is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sending hampers to staff at Manchester United, then I did hear about that, obviously. The draw is coming up in 10 minutes. But I do not... Look, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer sending hampers to people he used to work with is absolutely fine, but does it need to keep hitting the press? Like, he's not the manager anymore. Like, we desperately need to move on from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I was listening to something actually this morning. I took Seb to school this morning. I was walking back listening to a podcast, and they were basically talking about... Solskjaer was mentioned, and this is the only thing I'm really interested in talking about Solskjaer about, is the legacy of what he was at the club. And they were talking about Alanga, and I think it's Alanka. I think Alanga's name, even though it's a G, is a K. Maybe Swedish people will be able to help us on that. But they were talking about Alanga, and they were saying that at the end of the day, Solskjaer treated him like he treated Donny, like he treated Bay, like he treated Lingard. He was indecisive, and they were never going to get any game time. And really, he should have gone on loan. But with Solskjaer going, his season has suddenly turned full corner. He's been on a bench. He started a game. Rangnick obviously sees a player there, and he'll either get him out on loan or he'll get him involved, because that's what Rangnick does. He's a very pragmatic, emotionless surveyor of a football club. So he will see Alanka at the age he is, and he'll go, right, and I'm going to get involved in the first team, or he needs to go on loan. Whereas Ollie would go, he's not going on loan, but just keep trying and you might get in the first team, and then they never do. And I think, when I think about Solskjaer, they're the things I'm thinking about. I'm looking at how we can get this team away from what it was before into something new. So look, well done for sending hampers, but he's not the manager of Manchester United anymore. Can you ask Jorty to call my mate... What? Thomas says, can you ask Draughty to call my mate Debbie a prat? Loved the watch along on Saturday, by the way, says Thomas. Yeah, it was a good watch along, wasn't it? And I enjoyed it. Michael says, you're in denial. We're getting this happening each week. 258% rise in footballers having heart issues. Never seen this in my 43 years, says Michael Mello. But we have seen this, mate. We have seen this. I don't know whether... Look, I don't want to talk about F1 and I don't want to talk about vaccine, but there are footballers that have died from heart conditions way before we had COVID. We had... what was his name? I forget his... I'm really feeling bad for saying this, but I want to get the name right. I know Chiote had a problem. Vivian Foe, he's won a few years ago. Obviously Fabrice Moamba, that was years ago as well. So these things do happen, Michael. They do happen. And I think to try and start saying we're getting more and more of it, well, we might be having more and more of it because of the intensity of football just keeps going up and up and up. You know, maybe they're getting so fit and, 100% fit, demands are going up. I don't know. But I don't think you always need to go searching for conspiracy theories, because we've had footballers with heart conditions for years and years and years. It does happen, unfortunately. Fabrice Moamba didn't die, sorry. I'm talking about Mark Vivian Foe. Feher from Benfica as well, says Kushina. Enjoyed your last game for Goldbridge. I agree with you on how people forget what Christmas is about, the birth of Christ, says Chris Davis. There you go. And in all seriousness, is there any news how Lindelof is? Well, we've just spoken about it, Joshua. So hopefully, I mean, this is why it would be nice to find out whether we're having a press conference today, because I think that would be one of the first questions we would get asked. We're 9 minutes away from the Champions League draw. Champions League's odds at the moment: Manchester City are odds to win 7-2, Bayern Munich 9-2, and Liverpool 6-1. So I think they probably got that about right, actually. Did Sir Alex send hampers after he left? This is hilarious. Ollie's like a chewing gum stuck on a wall forever, says My Big Melons. And I really hope we avoid PSG, Athletic and Inter. Who do you want? I would like Salzburg or one of the Portuguese clubs. Thanks for the super chats that are coming in this morning. If you want to do those, you can do them through the $ and we'll read them out. Thank you very much for that. We don't want to talk about F1 and we don't want to talk about vaccine. I'm sure there's plenty of YouTube channels that will do that for you. We're here to talk about the Champions League draw and Manchester United news. So please don't take us into weird areas that I don't really want to talk about. I'm not in denial. I just don't really give a shit. I know that really offends some people, but I actually don't give a shit. When I'm talking about Manchester United on the United stand, I want to talk about Manchester United on the United stand, because you know what? When I'm not talking about Manchester United on the United stand, that's when I get involved in those sort of conversations. So this is escapism for me. I don't want to start talking about that, and I don't have to start talking about that. And if you want to talk about that, then you shouldn't be on a channel called The United Stand, which talks about Manchester United. So with all due respect, you believe what you want to believe. In fact, there's a running theme there. This channel's always been about opinion. I might disagree with your opinion, but by all means have it. But we're not going to start talking about stuff that's got sod all to do with the Champions League draw. So jog on, basically. And the same for F1. I'm not talking about F1 either. Did you see that Everton might be looking at Ollie for the interim job? Tristan, you always know how to get us a laugh. That's fantastic. Of course Everton are going to sack their manager, but they ain't looking at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in a million years. They're not going to be looking at him in a million years. He won't manage in the Premier League again. And if he does, you can tell me I was wrong. And I have been wrong about something. Career mode does resume today, Chris. It will be 3 o'clock today. United Stand FC promoted to the Premier League after one season in the Championship. Goldbridge with winning the Golden Boot. Proctor the Doctor on the right wing, the reincarnation of David Beckham's right foot. So we'll be on at 3 o'clock today if you want to get involved in that. It's been a fantastic series so far, and I'm looking forward to get back playing that. So yeah, who do you want in the Champions League draw? As a reminder, if you're tuning in a little bit late, we are going to be 7 minutes time until the draw. Who Manchester United can get in order of shitness. That's not a very nice thing to say, but you know what I mean. In order of weakness to strength, but you know what? We can say what we want on here. Salzburg, which would be obviously a connection to Ralf Rangnick, RB Red Bull Salzburg. Obviously, he was involved in helping that club. Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, PSG. We can get one of those 6 clubs. I obviously would be happy in that order. So if it's Salzburg, happy. Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, happy. Inter, still happy. PSG, Atletico Madrid, not really happy with that. In my Football Manager save, Ollie took over Everton and now they're a consistent top 4 side, says Paul Smith. Thank you, Paul. And oh, this is pissing about again. I get some of my tits doing this all the time. And also, Safe Word Pineapple says it's true. Everton have been looking at Ollie as interim. By the way, Ollie has the high win percent. Well, Everton are bloody stupid. I mean, I would love to see Ollie back in football. I really would. I'd love him to see back in football. I don't think anybody's got a bad word to say about us. Well, they have actually, but I don't dislike Solskjaer. I just don't think he's a very good coach. I really don't. I don't. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. A lot of people asking about Lindelof, which is fantastic to hear. But nothing about that at the moment. I'm hoping Cavani's going to be back fit. I've just seen a quote from Cavani talking about the Champions League draw, which is great. But I'm hoping he's going to be back playing ASAP. I certainly think we'll see a very different Manchester United when we have got Edison Cavani and Edison Cavani and Cristiano Ronaldo as an option as a front two. I mean, obviously they won't be able to play every single week, not in a million years. Will they be able to do that? Because we know that Cavani's got his injury problems, but I really do think we'll see a different Manchester United when we do get Cavani playing up front, and hopefully that will happen. But my bloody mouse is pissing me off today. It's on a go slow. Just on Kamara there, Ornstein saying, although it's unclear whether a destination for Kamara will be confirmed in the coming weeks or further down the line, the decision to take on a new challenge outside of France is believed to have been made. Of course, that's to do with Kamara, midfielder, just turned 22, defensive midfielder at Marseille, well thought of in the game, and Manchester United have been linked to him. I think any midfielder who can play centre defensive midfielder would be very welcome at Manchester United at the moment, wouldn't they? We definitely need some more options in there. Everton are looking to lose more games in that case, says Sonny, and we need Ollie in the Prem so that he can take Phelan and his Roy Keane away from us, says Big Jugs. And will Martial be back, Mark? Hope he plays, says Lewis Clark. Well, we don't really know what's happening with Anthony Martial, if we're absolutely honest. Bit of a knee injury. So we're waiting to see what happens with Martial. We know that he's obviously asked to leave. We've got Fabrizio Romano on the channel at lunchtime, so we'll be asking him about that. I mean, what I would say about Anthony Martial is, and we're getting very close to the draw now, we are in a situation... Oh my God. If anyone else has got BT on, you know what I'm on about. Is that a piss take advert or not? No, I don't think it's true. Just these pants advert. But yeah, with Anthony Martial apparently wants to leave Manchester United. We have seen with Anthony Martial before that he is looking to leave Manchester United, and therefore we will see what happens with that. But I do feel that it's time for him to go. I don't disagree with that. I do think it's time for Anthony Martial to go, but I am sort of disappointed by it. I would have expected him to come and at least have a bit of a go, but you know. Dean Klopp is so upset with the penalty we conceded, but not talk about the soft ones Chelsea and Liverpool conceded, says Bookie. And yeah, I mean, look, I didn't think the penalty on Ronaldo at the weekend was a penalty, but having seen it back, I think it probably was a penalty. Yeah, so I can't complain too much about it, to be honest with you. I mean, I wouldn't complain about it anyway, but what I'm saying is I think there were some soft penalties at the weekend, and I don't think we can complain about other people's penalties, because the Man City penalty probably wasn't a penalty. I thought the Liverpool penalty was a penalty. Hype says that the draw has been leaked and we get into Milan. I am actually just on the phone at the moment having a look at that to see if there is any sort of leaked draws. They do like to play with their balls, those hot balls. There's been rumours of that before. But I'm hoping we're going to get Salzburg. The draw is about to happen. It is 11 o'clock, just about starting to happen. And thanks everyone who's been tuning in. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner, if you want to get part of the United Stand. We're live every night at 8 o'clock, every morning at 10 o'clock, all the watch-alongs and everything like that. So please subscribe, bottom right hand corner. Away goals has been removed. That's a very good point from the striking goalkeeper in the chat. Very, very good point. We have removed away. Well, we haven't removed it, but away away goals has been removed. So the draw is about to go. I want Salzburg, and I'm sure you do too. I mean, let us know in the chat who you want. A lot of people last night, I think Ricky and Adam said they'd actually quite like to get Sporting Lisbon. I'd be very happy with Sporting Lisbon. I think that's a middle of the road sort of game. The way I see it is, with all due respect to Salzburg, that's the dream ticket. I think Benfica, Sporting Lisbon are middle of the road, sort of like I'd expect us to win, but they'd be interesting games. Inter's slightly more difficult than that, and then I think PSG and Atletico Madrid are the harder games. But a lot of people want PSG, and I understand why you do. Right, we're going to the draw now. Here we go. So let's see who we get. And look, I totally and utterly understand why some of you would want PSG. In fact, there's probably people who've been watching this channel for a little bit of time who'd say, you'd normally want PSG. And I think under Ollie, I'd have wanted PSG. Under Mourinho, I would have wanted PSG. But the reason I don't want PSG is because I feel that we're at the start of something new. And when you're at the start of something new, you want it to be as comfortable as possible so that you can grow. It's a bit like trying to grow a flower and winter comes. Do you want loads of hard frosts that might kill the flower, or do you want it to be a bit mild? I want it to be a bit mild, so I want Salzburg. But under Ollie or Mourinho, because we were further down the road, you want to be challenged. I didn't think Ollie getting any. If this had been Ollie in charge, I'd be like, let's play PSG. You've got to play the best teams. We're into year 3. But I just think where we are as a club, it would be nice to grow over the next 6 months, and to do that, I think an easier game. So, PSG would become such a big game at a time where even if you win, look, we beat PSG in Paris. Wedding night, Rashford's penalty kick. If you know, you know. And what happened? We thought we'd won the bloody thing, and then we got beat by Barcelona in the quarterfinals. It wasn't, we beat PSG in the last 16, and that's what I mean. When you win the last 16 game, you only go to the quarterfinals. I don't mind getting a Bayern Munich or a Man City in the quarterfinals, but I wouldn't mind. I think United need to get. I always say minimum quarterfinals. Anything else than that is a bonus for us at the moment. Well, surely you want the easiest game to get there. So I would like to avoid PSG, but if we get them, I understand why people would be excited. I'd rather get PSG than Atletico Madrid. Atletico Madrid are a hard watch anyway. So yeah. But I think we can beat PSG. I'm not scared of PSG. I mean, I've seen them a couple of times this season, and I don't think that they're superb. I thought they were very good against Bayern Munich last year when they knocked them out, but I don't think they're amazing. I just don't want to play Atletico Madrid because they're boring. And Salzburg, we'd be massive favourites. Doesn't mean we'd win though. A game like, I could understand why people might want to avoid a Salzburg, because we could effectively be quite vulnerable in that. We would beat PSG, Mark, no doubt, says Kush. Well, I think there is a doubt. What are your thoughts on the away goal rule? Actually, somebody just said, well, I've got to say, I don't know. Look, my personal opinion is, doesn't make it right. I actually quite liked the away goal rule in knockout, because we'll find out. Look, I never wanted VAR. I didn't like VAR, and I still would rather go back to football without VAR. Some people would say we've seen enough of it to show that football's better with VAR. Some people feel that the away goals rule made it a bit more defensive. This will make it more offensive. I think it puts the bigger advantage on being home second leg, because you don't really need to worry about the away goal things, do you? But it'd be interesting. I think we've got to put proof in the pudding, haven't we? Let's see what difference it makes. But the general consensus was that the away goals rule needed to go. I didn't like the extra time thing with the away goals, where if it was still level, then it's not if it was still level. If they scored in extra time, then the away goal counted. I didn't like that. But here we go. We're just about to start. Claudio Ranieri's brother to do the draw. If you know, you know. Giorgio Marchetti. He's the Deputy General Secretary of UEFA. I know that because it just said it on the screen. But also keep an eye on the other parts of the draw. I mean, there's so many... It's more defensive now. Park the bus away, stupid. Robert McCormack. But no, I think... look, hopefully, if we do get a good draw, you look at everybody else's draw and start thinking, ooh. I mean, whatever happens, I would like to see everyone else get difficult draws. Do you think you can make Nash... Ronaldo, I've already done it, thank you. Don't know why I'm mentioning that person. And Mark, you're a legend. Pint with your name on it in Ireland, says James. Thank you very much. The draw is about to take place now. It is Ranieri in disguise, says Daz. And Chelsea versus Lille, says Richo. Why can't we get Lille? Did they win the group? Yeah, they must have won the group. Isn't Arshavan doing the draws, says Lucas Wade. Well, I don't know who's doing it at the moment because he's still having a bit of a chat with himself about something. I think he's talking about Christmas, and you're not the Queen, mate. It's not a Christmas message. It's not a Christmas message. Just get on with the draw. Has Man City got Lincoln yet, Mark, says Dylan Bradley. Man City fans don't like that. City will get an easy draw. Liverpool, PSG. I haven't looked at what City and everyone else can get, so if anyone wants to let us know, please do. I've not focused on who City can get, but off the top of my head, they can probably get a lot of the teams that we got, because they finished top of the group, as can Liverpool. So yeah, breaking Man City versus Wigan under 10s junior team, says Josh. And Chelsea can get difficult games because they finished second in their group, didn't they? So they can finish. They can get any of those teams. City can get Villarreal, of course, because they weren't in our group. Well, good point by Mel. And Paulie says Salzburg are no joke. No, look, I'm not. Don't be that person. If we pull Salzburg out, don't be that fan that goes, yes, we're in the quarterfinals. That's totally disrespectful. They're in the knockout stage of the Champions League. They haven't been given a bye there. They've done well to get there, and they aren't a bad side. We would be favourites, but they could beat us over two legs because, as we've seen with United, we're capable, with the players that we've got, of putting in terrible performances. But you want to get the team that you've got the best chance against. If we get PSG, pants, says Yoda. And can you give a shout out to my mate, Gogglebox, says Lithium. And he's still having a chat. So here comes Arshavin. He's going to do the draw. I'll never forget Arshavin, actually. That 4-4 game at Anfield. Whatever season that was, it really helped us because Liverpool were contending for the title. So I'll always like Arshavin for that game at Anfield. So let's get on with it. This is the start of the draw. Clap your hands together. 1, 2, 3. I don't know whether there's a press conference yet. Still not heard anything about that. Don't know why Rangnick isn't doing a press conference, but not heard anything about that yet. Normally it would be about 1:30, but maybe they'll just release an interview of it. Sometimes you don't get a press conference for a midweek turnaround quite quickly, so maybe they'll just be maybe he did it after the game against Norwich and it'll get released at 1:30. You just don't know. But Arshavin, he's ready to go. He doesn't look like he wants to be there. He's just staring down. The other guy giving him the instructions, like a naughty kid being told off. In his head, he's having a different conversation. Piss off, you big glasses wearing twat. I'll do what I want to do. I'm not sorry. We will get Champions League this season, says Joel. We. And PSG versus United would be one to watch, says Aditya. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Nearly 24,000, so amazing. Too lazy to read my super chat, says Ishmasha. No, just read it for you there. And he looks like a kid being dragged along for Christmas lunch, says Midget. Yeah, I love Christmas dinner now. I used to hate it as a kid because all I wanted to do was play with Misabutio. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner. And we're about to start the draw here. They do like to milk it for at least 20 minutes, but we are ready to go. And Arshavin just wants to get back to bed, says Umar. Well, they've left him on his own now. We're back with Ranieri. What's he doing? He's giving us his bloody Christmas dinner recipe now. Well, what you do is you put the turkey in the kitchen, and then you get some stuffing, and that's what you do. You put some stuffing into the bowl, and you put some onions in it. Well, shut up, man, about your bloody stuffing. There's another guy walking in. Get him away from his stuffing shit. We're here to do a Champions League draw. Come on, my name's Michael Hessenholt. You right, remember me from Baywatch? Yeah, I run around in my red shorts. Sometimes. And now I do Champions League draws. Let's get on with it. He's gutted. He was really wanting to carry on with his stuffing draw. He's just looked into the bowl like that. You've got to be watching this to understand it. Let's go. I mean, basically, you put some balls in a fucking bowl and you pull them out. 4 of them, look. Oh, this can happen. That can happen. This. What are they doing? Explaining the offside rule. Oh, you know, just get on with it. We know why we're here. 11 minutes past 11. We could all be having a cup of tea and a biscuit by now. It's Christmas. We've got presents to buy. I've got Cooking Goldbridge Christmas to plan. I've got to cook a Christmas dinner. That you can watch that on the Goldbridge channel. It'll be out later this week. Goldbridge cooks Christmas dinner. I'm going to lose my shit doing that. There's so many components. I thought it was just a turkey and a bit of potato. No. Wife says no. You've got to do Brussels. You've got to do carrots. You've got to do pigs in blankets. You've got to do stuffing. I said, oh, it's not my birthday. They're waiting for the balls to heat up properly, says Tyrant. And get on with it, says Kaiser. He's still talking. He's telling us about his holiday in Swindon. So we went to Swindon and we saw the Costa Coffee. And then we went down the road to the Wetherspoons. And I had a pint of beer. And then we went back to the Premier Inn and watched EastEnders with Ingrid. Then we went to bed and slept. And then we got the plane back to the Europe on the Ryanair. It was a great time. Don't know what accent that was. Right, runners-up teams to be drawn. PSG, Atletico Madrid, Sporting Lisbon, Inter Milan, Benfica, Villarreal, Salzburg and Chelsea. So they're going to get drawn out first, are they? The runners-up. He's just whisked his balls round. He's thinking about his stuffing. He's going to take one out. Ranieri. Here he goes. Here we go. We're off. We're off. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. United stand. You're very welcome. Benfica. Benfica come out first. And... oh. They put some in a bowl for Arshavin. We could get Benfica. Come on, Arshavin, do your thing. Everybody sing. Do your thing. Come on, pull out Man United. You Arsenal shit. Do something good for you, good with your career. Come on, Arshavin. Pull out Man United. We'll have Benfica. He's staring at me like he's staring into my soul with a little smile. He's like, here he goes. Looks big. Real Madrid. Benfica, Real Madrid. What a crap draw that is. It's a good draw. It's a good draw for Real Madrid. That's a good draw for Real Madrid. So Villarreal come out. We can't get them. This is Man City. This is Man City's draw. It's a good draw for Real Madrid. Benfica might knock them out. I mean, let's not be honest. Villarreal. This is Man City's team here. So that's one of the teams I wouldn't have minded Man United getting. Gone! Benfica are not possible for Man United now. Benfica are gone to Real Madrid. So this is Villarreal. I'll guarantee you this will be Man City or Liverpool. This will be a piece of piss draw for them. Watch. Here we go. Man Rigty. Yeah, it's a big name. We can't get Villarreal. They fucked up there. He's shaking his head. Oh no, send me back to Swindon. I fucking knew it! I bloody knew it! Villarreal, Man City. I bloody knew it. Absolute bloody knew it. Villarreal, Man City and another easy draw. Bloody hell. So they messed up the draw. They put Man United in it. We can't get Villarreal. So they get Man City. I think they should redo it. I think they should redo that. Man City with a piss easy draw as per usual. Right. Atletico Madrid, we don't want these. Don't bloody get Atletico Madrid for Manchester United. I don't know how they can mess a draw up in front of millions of people watching. Don't put Manchester United in the draw. Okay, I put Manchester United in the draw. He's not paying attention. He's thinking about his holiday to Swindon again. Oh, that Costa coffee was good. So, we can get Atletico Madrid. Probably pull out Liverpool. Looks like a small name. Bayern Munich. That's an interesting draw. Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich. PSG United is still on. Fake or fixed or whatever word you use. Written all over the draw, says Gary. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. So United did get drawn out against Villarreal, which was a fuck up. You can't have that. So Man City got them instead. Atletico Madrid have got PSG. Now this is Salzburg. Come on. Oh, I'll never do it. I'll never be able to do my breath that long. Oh, Salzburg are out. Oh, Liverpool could get them as well. Oh, Salzburg. I don't trust he's put United in the bloody draw for this. He's a prat. Come on, Salzburg. Oh, is it going to be Man United? Oh, is it going to be Man United? Oh, is it going to be Man United? It's bloody Liverpool. Oh, piss off. Come on, man. Bloody hell. That's a joke. Oh. This is a joke. Every bloody time. We never get an easy draw. We never get an easy draw. To be fair to Liverpool, they had a decent group. Inter Milan, well, I'll take that now. What can we get left? It's either PSG, Inter or Lisbon. Who are you hoping to play against, Jordan? Well, I wanted bloody Salzburg, but Liverpool have got him. I'd have took Benfica, but Real Madrid have got him. I'll take Inter. I don't want PSG. I'll take Inter. Arshavin, you're shit. I always thought you were shit. No, Ajax. Oh, It's so rigged if we get PSG. It's so bloody rigged. Right, this is our last chance. This is Lisbon. If we don't get pulled out, we got PSG. And look, the PSG thing I wouldn't have a problem with if it wasn't so fucking obvious that they're trying to do Ronaldo against Messi. Like, that's my problem with it. It's not Man United against PSG. It'll be because Ronaldo versus Messi if that happens. And I just think it's so obvious. We all predicted it, that this would happen. Last chance for it not to happen. Yeah, we've got PSG. It's rigged. We've got PSG. Juventus get Sporting. Absolutely fucking joke. An absolute joke. We have got PSG. It's just bloody ridiculous. 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 Absolute joke. I mean, look, it is what it is, but PSG in the last 16, you finish top of your group and you get PSG. I mean, people will go, well, PSG didn't finish top of their group, but it's just so fucking obviously rigged. Like, it's so obvious. Oh, Messi against Ronaldo, that'll get more interest in a... I mean, look, a year ago, the Super League comes in because... basically, the top clubs say that the Champions League is dead. What do they do a year later? Oh, Ronaldo against Messi. That'll create a lot of interest. It's just so obvious. Ronaldo against Messi. That'll get people interested in the Champions League. And we'll do it in an early round where it can't not be avoided. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. It's bullshit. I don't care about it because at the end of the day, you've got to play decent teams at some point. But you finish top of your group, you could get bloody Salzburg, Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Inter. You get fucking PSG because it's Ronaldo against Messi. Swivel on it. I can't believe they can even keep a straight face. And they fucked up the draw as well. They drew us out against Villarreal. Mercedes, we need your lawyer. We want Villarreal. But... it is what it is. I think the sad thing is it's not an exciting draw. Well, it is an exciting draw, but we've played PSG before. I think we've played PSG more than fucking Monaco at this stage. We seem to play them every bloody year twice, but we'll be playing them again. And I mean, we played them twice last season. We played them twice this year. The year before we played them twice, didn't we? Because that was the year. Was that the year? I don't remember. But we do seem to play PSG a lot. And it will be because of Ronaldo versus Messi. That I don't know how they can keep a straight face there. It is Manchester United against PSG. So we had a 1 in 6 chance of pulling out PSG. And everyone predicted we'd pull out PSG. And guess what? We pulled out PSG. So there was a less than 20% chance, about 15% chance of us pulling out PSG. And we pulled out PSG! What a surprise. So 15th of February is down as the date at the moment. Obviously it won't be the 15th of February because it will be across 2 nights. Then the second leg will be in early March because there's a 3-week gap. In fact, they split the ties, don't they? So PSG, Ronaldo, Messi, Pochettino, Rangnick... very, very, actually forget about Ronaldo versus, forget Ronaldo against Messi. It'll be a very tough game for Manchester United. Mark, they ain't even trying to hide the fact that it was rigged, says Chris Hansen. And don't worry, Mark, you'll beat this fraud of a team, not jinxing, but PSG are more a joke than you guys, says Emil. It'll be a very difficult game for Manchester United to beat PSG because they have got an abundance of talent. Like Donnarumma's a fantastic goalkeeper. Their fullbacks are very good. They've got loads of options at centre-back. Their midfield is packed as well. And then the front three. I mean, they've got 2 amazing teams. Now, whether they're performing well or not, that's something else. But It'll be a very difficult game against PSG. I'm not happy with that draw. There's no part of me that's happy about it. You can say I'm crying, I'm bitter, whatever, but I've just seen Liverpool pull out Salzburg. I've seen Man City get Villarreal, and we get PSG. And look, you'll never prove it was rigged, but what I'm saying is you want to be, I personally want to be going as far in that tournament as I can. There's a very big chance that we will get knocked out. And even if we don't get knocked out, we're going to have to put a lot of effort into those 2 games. We finished top of our group, we've pulled out the hardest team. Man City finished top of their group, they pulled out one of the worst teams. Liverpool finished top of their group, they've pulled out one of the worst teams. Now, I'm not saying Liverpool and Man City have got anything to do with that being rigged, but that's a very good draw for Liverpool and Man City. They'll be like, easy progression into the quarterfinals. Let's see if we can avoid another team in the quarterfinals. For United, it's like massive game. Like PSG could be one of the favourites. So we've pulled out a very hard team. And look, if PSG had finished top of the group and we'd finished second, it's a different story. But when you finish top of your group, and we were a bit lucky in the group stage. Most of the games were under Ollie and we were a little bit lucky. But you'd hope to get a better draw than that. So a little bit disappointed with it, to be honest with you. But I think it was, as I said, we could have pulled out 6 different teams. So there was a less than 20% chance that we would get Salzburg or PSG or anybody else. And yet everybody last night on the show was saying, we'll get PSG. Before the draw, we'll get PSG. What happens? We get PSG. And when everyone thinks you're going to get PSG, but there's only technically a less than 20% chance we get them, we shouldn't get them. But we did. And why do you think we got them? Because the Champions League is in big trouble. The Super League was coming in last year because they're fed up with the Champions League. What is going to make a lot of interest in the Champions League? Ronaldo versus Messi. So they'll say it's coincidence and we'll never be able to say it's not coincidence. But it's a bloody big coincidence that we've pulled PSG out at a time when the Champions League is struggling and they can have Ronaldo versus Messi. So that's what it's all about. That's what it'll be built up to be. And look, we've got a chance in that game. Of course we've got a chance, but it's a very difficult draw when you finish top. PSG lose to United. PSG fires Poch. United continue with Ralf. Poch goes somewhere else. United sack Ralf. United want Poch all over again, says Ravi. Get into the chat. Let us know what you're thinking. They didn't put United in against Atletico, says Henrik. And how do you know? The only positive is we got some time to prepare, says Sharath Kamath Fitness. And Ralf will beat Poch. Face it, United sells, says Andy and Bruno. And UEFA corruption, says Oscar. Look, there's a massive consistency with Manchester United pulling out different difficult teams. Whether it's the Champions League draw, whether it's the FA Cup draw, we always seem to pull out a difficult team. And, maybe that's the downside of being a team that everyone wants to watch. More rigged than F1, fuming, says Nordson. A lot of you very happy about PSG, though. So, look, we do what we do. We play who we play. But I think they wanted Ronaldo versus Messi and they got it. I'm just going to put something out. Really, they should redo the whole draw because they put Manchester United into a fucking draw that they shouldn't have been in. So I would ask for the whole thing to be done again, but that won't happen. And we should play intense football with the best possible team, says Pornosh. I'm not surprised, says Mad Pro Gamer. If we had our high press system working by then, we'll have so many chances against PSG. Maguire against Mbappe gives me anxiety, though, says Aram. Henrik, thank you very much for the super chat. And lots of people saying they're not surprised. Lots of people saying they're excited. Oh, I get that. I get that. It's the pick of the draw. PSG versus Man United. But you know what I would say as well? How do you feel as a Manchester United fan when the last 2 times we've been in the knockout stages of the Champions League, we've pulled out PSG? We've not had any luck. That's one thing you've got to say as a bottom line. We don't get any luck in these draws. 3 years ago under Ollie, we pull out PSG in the knockout stage. And again, we've done it now. We don't get good draws. They've admitted not putting United in against Atletico, says Onric. And the United ball didn't go in Atletico. The draw should be redone. Well, that's a bloody joke. That is an absolute joke. Right, I'm tweeting that. That is a joke. Absolute joke. If that is that true, or are we being wound up here? There's no integrity to the draw then. There's absolutely no integrity to the draw. You can't do that. And people are saying dry your tears, but you can't not do that. You can't have a draw that United were not put into. If that, I saw us get put into the Villarreal pot, which we shouldn't have been in. But if they've not put us in the Atletico Madrid one, the lineup for the quarterfinals would be very good if all teams expected win, says Sharath Math Fitness. Why is everyone being bitter? It is what it is, and we just have to pull through. Hands down, it was either going to be Chelsea or PSG. Well, it wouldn't have been Chelsea, Apollo. We couldn't have got them. And regardless of that draw, it's a great match between PSG and United. We are Man United, and we should be relishing these sort of games, test and mentality, says Tyrese. Well, yes and no, Tyrese, but I'm sorry, football follows a very, very predictable path. If you're Liverpool and you're playing Salzburg, that's a much easier game than getting PSG. So Liverpool will, be able to ease their way into the Champions League latter stages because they've got an easier game against Salzburg that will require less effort. Manchester United, if we beat PSG, we might then pull out Bayern Munich. We might then pull out Man City. We are not one of the favourites for this tournament. To win this tournament, we needed a good draw and avoid the big teams for as long as possible. We ain't good enough to beat PSG, then Bayern Munich, then Man City, then Liverpool. That's not going to happen. So that's why I wanted an easier draw, because I want us to actually try and win something this year. And to do that, we need a bit of luck anyway. We can beat anybody on our day, but we're not on the level of a Liverpool or a Chelsea or a Man City who can just go and beat anybody week after week after week. United got pulled out by mistake for Villarreal, and because of that, they weren't put in the pot for Atletico. What's the logic in that, says Viraj. I don't know. Imagine if it goes to pens, Sancho and Rashford will be shitting bricks, says Julian. But look, it is what it is. Another bloody shambles of a draw. There should be a redraw, but there won't be a redraw because, to be honest with you, Man United are probably quite happy with PSG. It's unlucky, but our group was the easiest, says Kush. Let's be honest, if we want to win this competition, we need to beat these teams anyway. I hate that comment, K7. I absolutely hate that comment. In my opinion, that is just illogical. So if you want to win the trophy, you've got to beat the good teams anyway. Bollocks. What if you got Salzburg, Benfica, and then you're in the semi-final? You've got more chance of winning the trophy the easier games you get. You've got less chance of winning the trophy if you have to play hard teams all the way through. That's logic. It's illogical to say, well, it doesn't really matter because you've got to beat them all anyway. You haven't got to beat them all. You might not play a decent team until the semi-final if the draw goes right. It's like the FA Cup. It's like saying, well, I don't really care if we get Liverpool in the third round, Chelsea in the fourth round, Arsenal in the fifth round, Man City in the quarterfinals, Spurs in the semi-final, and then, you beat most of the teams then. But, what you really want is bloody Huddersfield, Stockport, Swindon, Coventry, and then in the semi-final you play. It's easier. It's easier, and that's what you want. But we never seem to get any easy draws, and we'll have to. You're right. We'll have to do it the way we've done it, but. I think the hard thing is that we've pulled a very hard team out. We've not had any luck in the draw, and we just got to get on with it. They are talking about a redraw, says Henrik, and we'll have to wait. Well, we'll wait and see if they do a redraw. They said we were ineligible for Atletico as we were already drawn. Ridiculous. Let's just knock them out anyway, says Seb Watson. We can't be eligible. How can we be eligible for the Atletico Madrid draw when we were drawn out afterwards? When Ronaldo was linked with City, they put City and PSG together in the same group, says Karen. Remember, Ronaldo to City and PSG happened to be in their group. Now Ronaldo is here we go. PSG coincidence, says Ozzo. And we'll just stay live for a little bit. Daniel Kirk says they've messed it up. Cavani to win it for us in Paris and Ronaldo to win it for us at Old Trafford. Boom, says James Smith. And Ace says, so you want easy draws to win? Yes. Why would I not? Why would I not want Manchester United to get easy draws? Like, I want to win. I want to win things. So, in the early rounds, I don't want to pull out difficult teams. I'm not happy that we've got Villa in the FA Cup. We'll be on the telly because we're playing Villa, but I'd much rather we played Swindon. Of course, I want easy draws. I want to win. Everybody knows the more hard games you play, the more difficult it is. But I don't know whether. I mean, this. I don't understand. So there's a bit of breaking news here that Manchester United were not part of the champion of the pot for the Atletico Madrid draw because we'd been drawn against Villarreal and they took us out of the Atletico Madrid pot, but we shouldn't have been in the Villarreal pot. So for me, it's ineligible. That draw is a void draw. You know, as simple as that. They should do it again. I mean, it's funny because I am a fan of Formula One, and I spent yesterday talking about rules being made by people in power. This is why sport has to have rules, because the minute you start going, oh, we've broken our own rules, but it's fine, people go, well, we don't trust you. And like at the end of the day, I'm sure Liverpool will be going, no, we don't want to redraw. It's not our fault. Well, it's not their fault. And I'm sure Man City are going, we don't want to redraw. It's not our fault. And it's not their fault. But ultimately, the reason you have rules in place is to make is for it to be integral, right? So where we are at the moment is Manchester United got put in the pot for Villarreal and got drawn out. But we can't play Villarreal because we've just been in their same group. So they left Man United out of the pot for the next one, which was Atletico Madrid, where we should have been in. So it's a rigged draw. It's not a rigged draw. It's a false draw. It's not a fair draw. Like, United should not have been in the Villarreal pot. And if I was somebody who wanted Villarreal, I'd say, yeah, but United's ball in there interferes with that draw, even whether Man City gets it. It still interferes with it. But it massively interferes with the Atletico Madrid draw when we should have been in that pot and we weren't in it. The draw lacks integrity. It's also not a legal draw. So it should be redone. United might not complain though, because they might just go, oh, it's fine. But it's an invalid draw. It's an invalid draw. It should be done again. People can laugh. People can say, cry more tears. But at the end of the day, tell me I'm wrong. How is that a legal draw? It's not. We need a world-class CDM to stand a chance, says Mel. And Kieran says United fans are making excuses as per usual. Kieran, you're acting like a twat as usual. How can it be? How can we be wrong when we've just had an illegal draw? You know, that's all we're saying. They have to redraw it. Now, whether they will or not, we'll have to hang around for a minute or two and see if they do. But it's absolutely bloody stupid that they've allowed that to happen. More and more people saying they have to redraw, and Liverpool was not in against Villarreal apparently, says Henrik. Oh, for fuck's sake. They've got to redo it. You've got to redo it. You can't have a situation where people weren't in the bloody draw. It's that twat and his holiday to Swindon. Fucking do the draw properly. Redraw it. We'll stay live for a minute, trying to find out if anyone can find out whether they are going to do it. If United were in the Villarreal pot, then another team that should have been in it must not have been in it, says Nicky. Exactly, and apparently it was Liverpool. This can't stand. Liverpool and our ball was mixed, then is technically staged. How are you, Mark? Says Ket Shelty. Redo it. Make sure you subscribe, by the way. Bottom right hand corner, we've got 30,000 people watching. We thought the FIA was bad yesterday, but by the looks of it, this looks like it's going to get even worse. We're just trying to find out whether there is any prospect. I don't think there's anything. Yeah, Mark Critchley, who is a journalist of The Independent, says, definitely looks like Manchester United's ball in the second pot from the right back row was not included in the Atletico Madrid draw. And UEFA, okay. A lot of people saying, won't they have to do it again? I don't think they will do it again. We'll see. We'll see what happens here. Mark Ogden has just said in the last 15 seconds from ESPN that Manchester United wasn't in. If Manchester United wasn't in the pot when Atletico drew Bayern, then there's an issue for United, Bayern, Atletico, and PSG, who will all feel that the draw wasn't fair. And basically, what's happened is the guy on the right who was in charge of the balls. He's put United in the Villarreal pot, and then he's forgot to put us in the Atletico pot. So, I personally look. What do people think? Do you just go, oh, it's fine? I suppose it's a bit like the whole restaurant adage, isn't it? You know, you order steak and chips with a salad. Your steak and chips comes out, you don't have a salad. Do you complain and say, I want my salad? Or you just go, oh, it's not that bothered, I didn't want one in the first place? I personally would say, where's the salad? I've paid for it, I wanted it, and it's on my order, so get it. But some people just think, well, it's not that deep. But if you tolerate this, then what do you tolerate next? Rules are rules. Like, it's an illegal draw. Like, it's an illegal draw. And I personally think they have to redraw it. Because if you don't redraw it, it's not a proper draw. So next time we'll go, oh, it doesn't matter. You know, it's the integrity of the game. It's the integrity of the rules. They must redraw it. Honestly, now they need to be an investigation to this. Independent regulator to monitor these things. Too many coincidences now, says Lawrence. This is the Champions League. It is the premier competition in football with the best teams in football. And we are sitting here saying, don't worry about it. Even though the draw wasn't done right, I quite like the fact that we're playing PSG. Oh, it's a good draw. But it's not a right draw. It's not a legal draw. So it's not right. And I don't care whether you're moaning about it. And I don't care what Man City or Liverpool fans think. Well done. You've had a good draw. If it gets redrawn, don't be mad at United fans. Be mad at the twat who didn't do it right in the first place. You can't do it. You can't have that draw. It's not legitimate. We weren't in the bloody pot where we should have been to draw an Atletico Madrid. So, you know, what if in the Atletico Madrid pot, whoever pulled out, who got bloody... What if Juventus had come out instead? You know, and then we might have got Sporting Lisbon. So let's trend redraw on Twitter, says Addy. I'm just fed up of it. I'm fed up of people not doing their job properly in something that's as big as that. And, you know, do we want to be the WWE or do we want to be UEFA? Integrity, honesty and legitimacy are very important. They fucked up their own draw in front of millions. It's not a proper draw. Honestly, now they need to be investigated, says Lawrence. We've done that one. Liverpool got mixed up with us, so should have Salzburg, says Daniel Kirk. Mark, I don't mind PSG, but they have got to redraw because the correct procedures wasn't followed, says Rickster. They'll just make Arshavin the scapegoat, says Jegon. I just don't see. I'm just going to tweet this and then you can have a look at what I'm saying and I'll say what I'm saying. So I've just said I just don't see how they can't do a redraw. The whole world has evidence it was an invalid draw. Can't have UEFA doing that. They have to redraw it. Laurie Whitwell of The Athletic has said confusion is currently about whether the draw can stand. Manchester United ball was clearly not in to face Atletico Madrid after Villarreal era. Amazing cock-up on a pretty basic system. So they've got to do it again. They've got to do it again. Raphael Honigstein, who is also of The Athletic, a German journalist, saying, don't see how UEFA can let this draw stand. Man United were by mistake omitted from the draw against Atletico Madrid. And that's what I'm saying. Look, I'm sorry on behalf of Manchester United fans. If you got a good draw, I'd be pissed off. I'd be really pissed off if I was a Liverpool fan, because Salzburg is a really good draw. But ultimately, if this was the other way round and Liverpool had pulled out PSG and we got Salzburg and then we found out that Liverpool weren't in the pot for one pot they should have been, do you think Liverpool fans would be quiet? No, they wouldn't. So, look, you haven't got a leg to stand on, and your anger should be aimed at UEFA, because you have not got a leg to stand on. That draw was not legitimate. For a draw to be legitimate and abide by the rules, then every team has to go into the right pot. I'd even go as far as to say United being in the pot for Villarreal still messes about with the balls. And who wasn't in that draw, or was there an extra draw? So as we are here now, we're talking balls, but reality is United were not in the pot for Atletico Madrid, which they should have been. They were in the pot for Villarreal, which they shouldn't have been in, and we got drawn out. But was there an extra ball in there, or was somebody not in there for that? Now, if somebody's got it on their TV at the moment, I would suggest going back to the Villarreal pot and seeing how many balls were in that pot. Because we were in there, which means either one too many was in there, or somebody wasn't in there. So it's two. James says you're unbearable to watch. Accept it. We have PSG and move on. Oh, James, not getting what you want. Not getting what you want, James. That oil club or this club doesn't make a difference. Come on, United, says Wayne. What next? The stage draw where UEFA put together matches that they get most profit from, says Polar Bear. Look, whether it was rigged that we got PSG, and I mean, no one's ever going to be able to prove that. But the reality is that in front of the whole world, they've got to redo it. Why do we? Who do we at on Twitter for redraw? Says Arjun Singh. Well, I'll start a tweet off. Let me start it. Hashtag redraw, yeah? Where's Gary Neville when you need it? He's too busy talking about Boris Johnson. This is corruption on a worldwide scale, Gary. Come on. Get tweeting about it. Has he tweeted about it? Or is he still going on about Boris? No, he's not doing anything at the moment. I'm surprised that I mean, I've got BT Sports on at the moment. I'm surprised how they're just sat there having a little old chat about, oh yeah, Leipzig, and not Leipzig, you're not in it. I'm surprised that they're all sat there going, oh yeah, it's a good draw for Liverpool against Salzburg. Grow a pair of balls. Actually grow a pair of balls as a pundit instead of thinking about your bank balance, and think about what's just actually happened. They've just done an illegal draw, Owen. They've just done an illegal draw, Joe. You don't care, do you? You're thinking about Christmas and your paycheck. It's a bloody joke. They've just done an illegal draw in front of millions. Own up and redo it. They have to redo it. Because if they don't redo it, the whole world will always know that this was dodgy. And you can't have that. You can't have that. Could Villarreal have got Real Madrid as their ball wasn't put into the Villarreal draw, says Tyrion Ferrez. And you are just great, crying but absolutely passionate, says Ace. I tell you what it is. Imagine we'd got Salzburg and Liverpool hadn't been in. I'd still be sat here saying the same thing. I'd be like, oh, for fuck's... I'd be angry. I'd be going, that bloody idiot, thinking about his Swindon holiday, not getting all the balls right. But I would be sat here saying, I don't see how they can't do a redraw, because you can't allow something to... I think if there's a grey area, like, ooh, did they do that right? Did they not do that right? But there's no grey area. They've got it wrong. We need to trend hashtag redraw. I've just tweeted it, so retweet my retweet and put it in there as well. Doesn't matter. We'll still get PSG even if there is another draw. Yeah, well, that probably will happen, Jim. Could Villarreal have got that one as well? Get us your thoughts in. We're good enough to beat any team. We can win the whole thing. It shouldn't matter too much, says Ted. Ted, it's not about that. You're missing the point, Ted. We're not talking about whether we can beat PSG. We're talking about rules. They broke the bloody rules. They haven't put us in a pot where we should have been, and they put us in one that we shouldn't. They've done it twice. Manscaped should do the chat. They always sort the balls out, says Anthony. Good one. The Villarreal one, they said all teams are available, so I think they had ours in there as extra, says Seb. And apparently a lot of the clubs have complained there should be a redraw. Whether we get one or not is another matter, says Jordan. They've got to, Jordan, haven't they? If clubs have complained, they've got to do it. There's no integrity in the draw. I never thought the Champions League draw was going to be as interesting as this, but they have to do it. They have to do it. So Chelsea finished second in their group and they got Lille. I completely forgot about that. FIA yesterday, UEFA today. Not a good week for the authorities and their decisions, says Saynath. I mean, at the end of the day, how hard is it to get that right? Check Mark Critchley tweet. You can see it clearly. Okay, let me have a quick look. Have you got his at? No, I've got him. Found him now. Independent Northern Football correspondent. Definitely looks like Man United's ball in the second pot from the right back was not included in the Atletico Madrid. Oh no, I think I've got no issue with that. I think we know we weren't included in that. As a lot of people are saying, it's a cock up. Redo it. You've just got to redo it. And Michael Owens just tweeted out about it being a good draw. He's a prat. He's just been paid to do the fucking draw and he doesn't even realise. Integrity is key. Miguel Delaney saying that talking to a few within UEFA at the moment, early indications are that the draw will be allowed to stand despite the confusion over United Atletico, but let's see. So basically we're going to let a draw that was illegal stand. Yeah, come on. You know what? This is a bit of a life lesson for you. Whatever your politics, whatever your nationality, whatever your beliefs, you wonder why people start worrying about, and people call it conspiracies, whatever. You wonder why people don't trust authority. Across anything. You know, so many things I could talk about. Like, you wonder why people don't trust authority. And then we have a prime example of it here in football. We've messed up the draw, but we're not going to do it again because it's not that bad. So you've messed up the draw. It's not a legal draw, but we're not going to do it again. And you expect people to trust authority. So basically, you've been incompetent and you're going to sweep it under the carpet and just get on with it. You can't do it. You've got to do the draw again. We don't live in the bloody 1800s anymore. You can't hide the fact. You decide to do a televised draw. If you'd done that behind closed doors, no one would know. You do a televised draw, you fuck it up in front of everybody, and then you're going to go, it stands. Come on. We're in 2021 now. You've got to redo it. Because I tell you what, in a world where people don't trust authority, you better be doing things fucking right. And you did it wrong. So do it again. Simple as that. And if we get PSG, we get PSG. But do the draw correctly. You know, you can't not do it correctly. It'd be very interesting to see if they want to. But let's see. I'm trying to see if there's anything. A lot of people very excited about us getting PSG. I'm going to hang about for a little bit because there might just be something else coming through on this. Lots of people talking about it. A Man United ball was put in the bowl for possible Villarreal opponents when Man United shouldn't have been in the draw. Man United was then not put in the bowl for Atletico opponents, which is obviously the bigger mistake. I would agree with that as well. I mean, I think the fact that we were in the... As long as Liverpool and everybody else was in the draw for Villarreal and we were an extra ball, that's a mistake. But to not be in the Atletico Madrid draw, that is not a mistake. That is where it becomes ridiculous. You can't... I don't think there needs to be a redraw because we were in the Villarreal pot. I think they drew us out. That's a mistake. There needs to be a redraw because we weren't even in the Atletico Madrid pot, which is wrong. You know, we couldn't actually get drawn against Atletico Madrid, even though we should have been able to be drawn against them. Allianz says we need VAR. I don't think we do. I think it's very, very clear that they've got it wrong. But it's now about credibility as to whether they'll do anything about it. Bring back the Super League. I agree with you. I want us to win fair and I'm Liverpool, says Andrew. I'd be massive. Look, I'm sure Liverpool fans and Man City fans will be saying cry more, and Chelsea fans. I get that. That's football rivalry. But to be honest with you, I'd be very pissed off if it was a redraw and I was Liverpool, because you've got a very good draw against Salzburg, and you know Liverpool have got players going off to the African nations. They've not got a massive squad. That draw is fantastic for Liverpool, and I've got no issue with you being pissed off if there was a redraw. But as I said, if it was United against Salzburg and Liverpool were in this situation, I'd struggle to find a reason why it shouldn't be redrawn. As much as I don't want it to be redrawn, I'd struggle to find a reason because it's so very obviously been wrong. So, you know, that's the issue there, is that there's no justification for not doing it. You didn't put one team in a pot where they should have been in it. And it's fine not being in it, but... early indicate from talking to a few within UEFA at the moment, early indications are that the draw will be allowed to stand despite the confusion over United, Atletico, but let's see. So no, they're going to try and stand by it, but I don't see how you can. I don't see how you can. Their own draw is not right. But you know, but look, we've got this problem in the UK at the moment with our government. We had it yesterday with the Formula One. It seems to be a running theme at the moment, and some people will find it funny, but you know, we've got a government in the UK, and I hate talking about politics, but they basically deny something happened that people have evidence that did happen. The Formula One race yesterday, we did break the rules, but we can if we want to. And today, we did do it wrong, but we don't think it's such a big deal. It's like, well, why do we have rules in the first place? Please tell me why we have rules and regulations in the first place. Why can Manchester United not, so we finished top of the group. On last night's show, we're talking about we don't want Atletico Madrid because they're quite boring. We can get Atletico Madrid, but then UEFA decide you can't get Atletico Madrid. That's basically what's happened. Before the show started, and for the last couple of weeks, we've known that Atletico Madrid were a possibility. And then UEFA, through their own incompetence, have taken that away. No, we never could have drawn Atletico Madrid, even though technically we could have done. So how does that work? How does that work? How can it be a fine draw when we couldn't draw a team that we could have drawn? Because we weren't put in the pot. And look, you're right. Jack says, but you didn't want Atletico. I didn't want Atletico. I don't want PSG. But it's the integrity of the draw that we're arguing about. They didn't do the draw properly. So how can you... This ain't fucking me and my mates playing fucking World Cup in my garden 20 years ago. Oh, it don't matter. We'll just play how it is. No, this is the bloody Champions League. The prestige tournament in world football. They've done the draw wrong and they're going... it doesn't actually matter. It's only a game of football. It doesn't matter. You've got to redraw it. You've got to redraw it. Has there ever been a Champions League redraw, says the Big? Lille left out of Sporting draw 2, says David. Oh, for fuck's sake, you're joking. You're joking. There can't be more mistakes. Apparently, Man United versus PSG is no longer being shown on the Manchester United website for ticketing. Shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. The thing is, UEFA will be desperate not to do a redraw. Well, no. Let me just say this. Hypothetical. If you are UEFA, at this moment, you are over the moon because you've got Ronaldo against Messi, right? Everyone's saying you need a redraw. They're like, shit. If we do a redraw, how the hell can we justify Man United playing PSG again? Because there's less than a 20% chance it happens in the first case. It's never going to happen the second time. So they're going to be desperate to keep Man United playing against PSG. Because they know if they do a redraw, if it comes out again, people are going to go, this is absolutely rigged. So they've got to... I can see they're going to try and stand by it. But... I don't know whether, to be honest, saying it's rigged is a big thing to say, but it's incompetent. It's illegal. It's not a proper draw. It's invalid. It's not illegal. It's invalid. I keep getting the word wrong. Lille left out of Sporting draw 2, says David. UEFA tweeting about greatest playoff wanting to sell tickets before integrity. Sounds like you are scared of PSG and don't believe in the Man United squad, says PGH. Not scared of anybody, mate. I'd rather have an easier draw. Not scared of playing PSG. What I am going to do is categorically 100% tell you that draw is invalid and should be redone. You know, there's plenty of look. It's the Olympics, right? It's the Olympics. There's a world record for long jump, right? And there's somebody that can beat that long jump. There's this guy who's just brilliant, or girl, right? And they everyone thinks that they can break the world record, right? They're going to win gold, and on their final jump, they break the world record by a long way. They break the world record by a half a metre, quite a long way. And everyone's like, oh my God, we've just witnessed history. And then somebody goes back and looks at the board, and they're an inch over. They've gone over the board. So it's an illegal jump. And everyone goes, yeah, but he's only gone over the line, the launch line by a little bit, but he's broken the record by that bit. So it's got to stand. No, because he's broken the law. He's broken the rules. He's gone past the line from his leaping foot. Yeah, but he's broken the record by way more than that. But it's still invalid. It's an invalid jump. So the record's not been broken because it's an invalid jump. And therefore that draw, as much as you might like it and go, oh, I don't want it to be redrawn. We've got bloody Salzburg. We've got Villarreal. PSG United's an amazing draw. That cannot be your argument. You can't just go, oh, I don't want it to change because it's an amazing draw. It's still an invalid draw. So I'm sorry. My mindset might be different to other people's mindset. And yeah, look, there's some great draws in there. Atletico Madrid against Real Madrid. Atletico Madrid against Bayern Munich's an amazing draw. No one's saying it's not an amazing draw, but it's an invalid one. And in a world where we are crying out for integrity and honesty from those in authority, if they let that draw stand, there can be no integrity. There can be no trust. So they have to redo it, whether they like the draw or not. The biggest injustice, says Callum, is that Arsenal were left out all the pots. Love it. Love it. Apparently United getting drawn against Villarreal was a technical error, and their regulations mean that teams get sent to last who just happen to bet set versus PSG. I don't know what that means, Michael. Mark, if they don't redraw, then United must play under 21s in both legs. Send a message across and do not play Ronaldo. This is not a fault. Well, Man United won't do that, Ash. This is like catching a person committing a crime as a police officer and then saying, no, you're good, says Nash, which actually sometimes happens. And I I think the sweep under the carpet has well and truly begun, hasn't it? Because it doesn't look like we are going to get anything else happen here. Even Anfield Agenda is saying should be redrawn in fairness. UEFA fully fucked up. And if this is from Mark Ogden 4 minutes ago. Issue for UEFA is that the whole thing was played out live on camera to allow the draw to stand when it was clearly flawed, a genuine mistake but flawed, will impact the integrity of the competition. I think they've got to redo it. Whether it happens or not in the immediate future, we don't know. But I certainly think we will end up with one, because we have to end up with one. Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right hand corner to do that. Really appreciate it. It's turned into a more so Raphael Honigstein has said here that don't see how a UEFA can let this draw stand. United were by mistake omitted from the draw against Atletico Madrid, and Liverpool were wrongly included. Oh my God. So it gets worse. It gets worse. Unbelievable, Jeff. Unbelievable, Jeff. So we're waiting to see what's going to happen here. So Liverpool were in the pot that United should have been. Now, of course, Liverpool should not have been in the pot for Atletico Madrid, because Liverpool played Atletico Madrid in the group stage. United should not have been in the Villarreal pot because we played them. So we were not in the Atletico Madrid pot and Liverpool were. It's not about what draw you want at the end of the day. It's not about whether you're happy with PSG. It's not about whether you're happy as a Liverpool fan getting Salzburg. It's about the integrity of the draw. And they must redo it. But of course, it's Europa League draw time at the moment. So we will not be getting a Champions League draw anytime soon. Let's have a quick look what Simon Stone has got to say. Apparently there's a Stone. So Simon Stone has said that Michael, the person who did the draw, did appear to pick 5 balls out, which would be the correct number, as Atletico Madrid couldn't get Liverpool, but not entirely clear which teams. As others are saying, it appears Liverpool ball was in the draw, but not Manchester United. So they had the right numbers, but the wrong teams. Evidently, they had Man United in after Villarreal were drawn at the start when it shouldn't have been. So look, rigged is not the word. It's not rigged. What they've done around that, the evidence is there. Man United did not get put into the Atletico Madrid pot and Liverpool did. Therefore, the draw is invalid and it must be redone. Rigged is where you've done it on purpose. That's not been done on purpose. That's just incompetence. So I would call it an invalid draw. And it has. You know what? I'm gonna say it right here, right now. It will get redone. It will get redone because it's got no integrity to it. So it will get redone. When they'll redone it, I don't know. Joshua says my bets are they won't even acknowledge it. They've probably got someone photoshopping or rotoscoping or whatever they call it on video, trying to make out that United weren't in it. But the problem is United, as we saw, got drawn out by Arshavin. So we'll have to wait and see what they come out with. But it's about the rules and it's about integrity and it's about honesty. Apparently Sky Sports have said something. We're just going to try and find out and see what they've got to say on the matter. But it will definitely get redone. Sky Sports has asked UEFA to clarify what happened with the Atletico Madrid draw and why Man United were not put in the pot as an option for them to be drawn from. And somebody just said on Twitter here, expecting Champions League to say we redid the flawed draw with the cameras off and the results came out exactly the same. Look, no, I'm not. I think that getting PSG is coincidental because Ronaldo versus Messi, you can't argue with it. It's happened in front of your own eyes. If they want to find a way where they can make that happen, we can't prove it. But what we can prove is that the draw was invalid and they made big mistakes in it, and therefore there's no integral part to it. So look, I just think that let's wait and see what happens. Of course, there'll be a lot of clubs not very happy if it gets redrawn because they've had a good draw. I suspect Bayern Munich will be very, very much wanting a redraw because they finished top of their group and they got Atletico Madrid. So, you know, there'll be some teams moaning. I don't know whether United will be moaning. Maybe United will be like, well, we quite like the idea of playing PSG. It's a massive game. But Simon Stone is saying, evidently UEFA could say that they had the correct number of options for Atletico Madrid, who were drawn against a team that there was no issue with them playing. However, it looks rubbish. Interesting to see what they do. And, you know, there's a great tweet here from United Faithfuls. Clubs should have the chance to be drawn against all available potential opponents. But Manchester United and Atletico were kept apart against the draw's rules. It's unfair not just to Manchester United but also to Atletico Madrid, who now face Bayern. Both clubs should 100% right to demand a redraw. And yes, Liverpool were included in that draw as well. So it's not just Man United who will have a moan. PSG might have a moan as well. You know, PSG might be like, look, we've been drawn against Man United. They could have get drawn against Atletico Madrid. If Man United get pulled out against Atletico Madrid, then PSG don't get United. So I think Bayern Munich, Atletico Madrid, PSG and United will be all teams that will be moaning about this based on the integrity of the draw. Mark, you can't deny Ollie. No, Ollie United can't seem to stop being in the headlines, says Gershon. I've got to be honest, even Specsavers have responded to UEFA, says Astral. And just rewatch the video for Atletico Madrid. The presenter said that Man United are already drawn, hence person did not pick the ball for Manchester United. Shit show, hashtag redraw, says JC. And they will say that it didn't affect the draw because we didn't get pulled out against Villarreal and whoever our ball was swapped with didn't get drawn out against Atletico, says Jake. You know what, Jake? If they do that, though, I'll refer back to what somebody just said there. We finished top of our group. Atletico Madrid finished second in their group. We therefore must get the right to be drawn against them. So we will see what happens. There are more tweets coming out whilst I'm live here, so we'll just hang about for a little bit longer. Atletico Madrid are talking to UEFA about the Champions League draw. UEFA are currently discussing whether the draw can go ahead in its current guise. Redraw decision coming within the hour is the word, says Alex Shaw. The good thing for UEFA is that a ball hasn't been kicked yet in the round of 16 and fans won't have booked any travel, so redo the draw and do it properly next time, says Mark Ogden. Look, people have got the zoomed in footage. I think it's absolutely spot on what's happened. It's not spot on. We know what's happened. We know it's not correct. We know that there has to be a redraw. And they will. They will have to redraw it. I said it 10 minutes ago. I'll be very, very surprised if they don't end up doing a redraw here for Manchester United's and everybody else's Champions League draw. I'll be very, very surprised if they don't. They'll obviously have to do the Europa League one first. We may end up getting a redraw. I mean, just on a Manchester United point of view, have we got anything on a press conference for Rangnick yet? Do we know what's happening with that? But Atletico Madrid won't be very happy about it either because they won't want to play Bayern Munich. This is actually from Gerard Romero, who is a Spanish journalist, I believe. He's saying that UEFA say there's a possibility that the draw of the Champions League will be repeated. Obviously, we've got the Europa League draw first, so that will have to happen first. And it's looking very much like there will be a Champions League redraw coming up. So let's just stay live for a little bit longer. Please subscribe, by the way. We've been live for a very long time. We've had 30,000 watching for a very long time. And I think that we will get a redraw I said that 15 minutes ago. I'm sure many people would have agreed with me when I said it. To me, we live in a world at the moment where there are huge question marks over authority for many different reasons, many different strands of reasons. And if there is no evidence, just if there is only suspicion and there is no evidence, then you can sweep it under the carpet. And we've seen that happen many times in history in many different areas. When the evidence is there for the world to see that they've got it wrong, then there has to be a redraw, because otherwise you are telling it's do what I say, not what I do. You are telling people to abide by your rules when they don't abide by them themselves. So, for me, it has to be. Don't know what's more foolish, UEFA redraw or Man United emailing all their season ticket holders now about the drawing PSG without waiting for the UEFA, says Sean. And don't forget they drew City and PSG in the same group when there was Ronaldo to City rumours. Not rigged, but come on, surely not a coincidence, says Abdul. Well, we won't be getting PSG if there's a redraw. And I think that's the thing that's going to piss UEFA off the most, is that they've got a fantastic draw. Should always be done by computer anyway, says Sean. Yeah, the trouble with computers is that people don't trust them either. We won't be getting PSG if there is another draw, because the chances of that happening twice. So the chances of that happening twice are minimal. So yeah, I can't see that happening. And it's human error at the end of the day. I'm not going to say anything more than that. I think ultimately it just comes down to pure human error, that they've messed up and they've got it wrong. So these things can happen. I've always said this, if you're new to the United stand or not, you'll know I've said this many times. I do believe in second chances. I do believe in, if people acknowledge a mistake, then, you've got to try and give them a second chance, as long as it's, in this case, it's only bloody putting the balls in the wrong pots. He's still there doing it now for the Super League. He's doing them it again, the Europa League. So there'll be, he doesn't look that bothered. He seems quite relaxed, but I think at the end of the day, it's not the guy who's grabbing the balls anyway, is it? It's the guy who tells him what balls to do. It's Ranieri. It's Ranieri's brother who's at fault, isn't it? I think that's who's at fault. Who's at fault for that? But please subscribe, by the way. We will keep you up to date what's going on. It seems silly to end the stream at the moment when we could well be heading into another draw. Lots of Romano saying that clubs are in direct contact with teams at the moment to see what's going on. Alex says that we won't get a redraw. I'm pretty sure that we will, Alex. I really do think we will get one. They're currently doing the Europa League draw at the moment. Atletico Madrid will be complaining a lot as well, because they've got Bayern Munich, who are one of the favourites for the tournament. So it won't just be Manchester. If Manchester United are complaining, United might... You know what United are like? They might be like, way Messi against Ronaldo. You know what United's admin's like and social media? They might be really happy that we've got Messi and Ronaldo. United might be like, it's fine. So Man United might not be one of the biggest people complaining about this. We might want to see. Wait and see what happens with that. But it doesn't matter who complains, as long as one team complains. And as I said, it really does come down to the fact that we've got an integrity issue, really. Mark, it's my birthday. This has been great coverage and entertainment has lifted my spirits. Why I'm getting over COVID has to be a redraw, says David Hill. Thanks for the super chat, David. United probably aren't asking for a redraw. Literally not through with anything. Also would help if Gary Neville called for it and put pressure on, says Harris. Definitely. Yeah. They thought Ronaldo was going to City. Okay. Look, I want to hit this head on. Somebody just said there, United fans crying. Not really. I know it's very easy to say that when you've got an insecurity of yourself, is to try and deflect it onto somebody else. I get that. And I've actually been quite mature about this and said, look, I've got no love for Liverpool fans. They've got no love for United. But I can also be empathetic of a situation. And Liverpool haven't got a massive squad. You've got a lot of players going to African nations in January. What a great draw it is to get Salzburg in the first knockout. Now, Salzburg might be a difficult game, but it's a very straightforward game. Dortmund have just pulled out Rangers, actually, in the Europa League, by the way. So I understand why Liverpool would want this draw not to happen again. I understand why you'd be frustrated. But to come on here saying United fans are crying, but it's not just United fans. It's Atletico Madrid fans. It's Bayern Munich fans. It's PSG fans. There's a lot of teams not happy because the draw isn't valid. It's not about moaning or anything like that. It's about the fact that it's not even about getting PSG. It's about the fact that we should have been in the pot with Atletico Madrid and we weren't put in there. So therefore the draw is invalid. And you can moan that you've got, United fans are kicking up a fuss or anything like that. But the reality is, if we haven't got rules in competitions like this, then we may as well just, if you tolerate this, then you can tolerate anything. Because ultimately, the draw doesn't mean anything if it's not done properly. 2 biggest TV games were tampered with, says Sean from Ireland. And this is the same lot that gave out rigged Euros and World Cups on the regular. They'll investigate themselves and find they did nothing wrong, as per, says Esto. Absolutely cannot see a situation where they don't do a redraw. UEFA using VAR to see if there was a mistake, says David. I just cannot see it. And also, in a time where the Super League was stopped very recently, they cannot afford to have this sort of thing go against them. So they in the world that we live in at the moment, people can deny they've done things when it's very obvious that they did. But I think that UEFA made the right call. Nobody wanted to see Atletico versus Manchester. What we got was far more exciting. United are currently awaiting clarification as to what happened in the Champions League draw. And apparently from Rodrigo Faze, which is via Manchester Madrid Extra, UEFA is close to agreeing to repeat the draw. Very viable option at this point due to the mess up seen before and thanks to the complaints of several teams. Manchester United have challenged the Champions League draw but are awaiting clarification. That's from Frederick Fieldvet. And United stand are saying that the draw could be withdrawn. We won't get PSG again. Miguel Delaney said it's genuinely hard to see that the draw can stand. It's affected 6 of the ties. Really should have been in with that. Man United should have been in. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see when they're going to do this draw. They've just done the draw for the Europa League, so we're getting on to a point where I don't know whether they don't they have to do a second part of the Europa League draw. So they might have to still do bits with that, but they also stuffed up the Europa League drawing. Barcelona versus Sociedad. Really? God, chunks. Sunshine, Gary Neville, where are you? Stop helping Ollie with hampers and sort out the injustice, says Big Jugs. Gary's only interested in the government at the moment. And Manchester United have not challenged the UEFA decision but awaiting clarification. You called it typical social media team disappointed, says Senath. Well, you know what? As a Manchester United fan, I would challenge it because I would think, it's difficult. This is definitely something that's less. It's going to divide opinion here. But if I'm in charge of Man United, if I'm the chief executive, I'm complaining, and I'm complaining because on a redraw, it's very unlikely we're going to get PSG. Atletico Madrid is slightly easier than PSG, and then Benfica, Sporting Lisbon, Salzburg, and Inter are much easier. So I'm complaining because I want a redraw and I want an easier draw, because an easier draw means more chance of getting into the quarterfinal. Manchester United might look at it and go, but it's Ronaldo versus Messi. Think of all the social media clicks. Think of all the retweets. Think of all the hype. And there is a lesson. Are we a football club or are we a business? Because a business will be thinking about the hype of Messi versus Ronaldo. A football club will be thinking, we want Salzburg rather than PSG. Now, as a football fan, I want the easier draw. I want to go deeper into the tournament. The deeper in the tournament you go, the closer to the final, closer to winning a trophy. United might not look at it like that. They might fancy the social media side. And that's been something that many United fans have levelled at the club for a few years now, that we're more interested in, clicks than we are in actual succeeding. People start calling the FIA the most corrupt sports organisation. UEFA, hold my beer, says Joshua Bowwater. A redraw is required to maintain the integrity of the competition and football in general, says Joseph. Sai says, hi Mark, did you see Fabrizio's latest tweet? He confirms that clubs are in contact with UEFA. Also, it's my birthday today, says Sai. And ticket ballots are open for PSG on the website. Can apply for tickets now, says Abigail. You're all laughed at me. Well, look who's laughing now. Super League is the answer, says Florentino Perez. Just trying to keep you up to date with what's going on here. Atletico Madrid have definitely challenged it. Manchester United have inquired about it. Be my daddy, Mark, says Karen. Okay, and let's have a quick look over here. Thanks everyone who's watching, by the way. Please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. It's been an unexpected start to the week. We're closing in on 240,000 subscribers, so please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. It's been an unexpected start to the week. We were thinking it's going to be a straightforward draw. It hasn't been a straightforward draw. And we're now in a situation where we are expected to see what happens. I mean, there's a good tweet here from @CryptoVaran. He says, the sad thing is, those at Manchester United would be so happy at that fixture because they know just how much it would have generated in relation to interest. But the reality is, as fans, we don't care about the money. We want to win the Champions League. It needs to be fair. Yeah. So, and as I say, I'm not talking about this being fixed. I'm not talking about that. It's I'm talking about that this was a very, very clear mistake that was against the rules, and therefore you must redo it. Everybody's in the building. Redo the draw. And I don't see, if UEFA come out and say we've got to redo the draw, I can't see a situation where they don't do it, because I'm pretty sure that they will have people complaining about it. I'm sure Liverpool and other clubs will go, we don't want a redraw. It's not fair on us. But ultimately, your answer to that is, look, we're really sorry, but we made a mistake, and the draw is invalid. We have to do it again. We can't honour that draw. So, and the thing is as well, they do practice draws. They do practice draws as well. Happy birthday, Sai. Mark, you got his super chat but forgot to wish him, I guess, says Danielle. Okay, happy birthday to Sai Prasanth. I hope I've got that right from Danielle. Sorry about that. Lots going on. Everyone crying about the draw. You've got to beat the best teams to win it anyway, says Paul. No, that's not, totally missing the point, Paul, there. The point is the draw was invalid. It's not about that. It's not about that. Liverpool v PSG, Chelsea versus Bayern, City versus Villarreal, United v Salzburg. That would be fantastic, says Feed the Scousers. Let them know it's Christmas time. And we're just awaiting. I'm just awaiting now that they're actually going to officially redo it. For UEFA now looking likely to redo the Champions League draw following errors, which saw Atletico Madrid incorrectly not provided. Gillen Balagay is saying, this is interesting. Real Madrid will ask UEFA if they redo the draw to start after their ball came out. Mistake was made after that. So, I suppose you could look at it like that, I suppose. I'm not sure I'd have a massive problem with that. I mean, so basically, because this mistake happened at a certain part of the draw, could you therefore only redo the redraw from that point? I mean, you're talking technicalities there, aren't you? Do you want to shenanigans? Says Rural. Atletico paid to avoid Ronaldo. Keep up the vids, says Kev. And Liverpool. I mean, where would you stand on that? Is that right? If they redo the draw, should they do it from a position where the mistakes were made, or do you redo the whole draw? I'm not fussed. I know a lot of people would say no, you should redo the whole lot. Simon Stone is saying he's watched the draw again. When Villarreal were drawn out, it is said that they can get all 7 teams and 7 balls go into the pot. But actually, they could only get 5. Man United were drawn out first, but were in the same group. Real were also in there, but you can't get an opponent from the same country. So 7 balls in the Villarreal pot. So, yeah, that's... they've ballsed it up. I'm amazed it's taken me this long to say it. But Manscaped, you missed out on a treat. This was a Manscaped integration from heaven. A few people saying, yeah, just redo it from the start. Some people are saying redo it from the mistake. I'm not. I mean, if they redo it from the start, it's better for United because there's more chance of us getting Salzburg because Salzburg came out before the mistake. But all I want is a draw that's done fairly. So do it from wherever you want to do it. But I'm convinced we will have a redraw, 100%. And a few people saying, yeah, redo it from the mistake. Some people are saying redo it from the start. I don't care. Just do the whole lot. Just redraw it, get the balls out, redo it again. The thing is, they could do it so quickly as well. The pots are there, the people are there. Get the balls out and let's go. I mean, how long does it take? I suppose they've got to warm the certain balls up again. But I mean, there's a Chelsea fan here, Frank Khalid. You might have heard him on Twitter. He says, rumours of redrawing the Champions League draw, surely not. What are you talking about, surely not? And that's the thing I won't understand. I understand the frustration. If you've had a good draw, I totally get it. If I put myself in the shoes of Liverpool, I'd be really, really pissed off with UEFA. But how do you think everybody else feels? We're all in the same pot. Pardon the pun. How can you say it's ridiculous to do a redraw when they've done it wrong in the bloody first place? You can't argue with the fact that they've got it wrong. Their own rules have been broken. They've made their own draw obsolete. So, yeah. Apparently Villarreal has complained too. What? Oh, is it? Yeah. Daniel says there'll be no draw. Resuck it. UEFA is about to agree to do another draw following complaints from several teams. Of course they'll redraw it. Of course they'll redraw it. I'm just waiting for the official line on it. Get French Football News is saying UEFA are now likely to redo the Champions League draw following errors in the process, which saw Atletico Madrid incorrectly not optioned. UEFA looking to redo it. UEFA is about to agree to do another draw following complaints from several teams. So we are waiting. I mean, it's just a funny old time to be alive at the moment. It's always a good time to be alive, but it's a funny old time at the moment around sport. The F1 debacle yesterday was just ridiculous, and that's going to end up in the courts. But the great thing about this, and I think somebody said it before, is that everybody's still there. No game has been played. Let's just get on with it. The longer they think about it, just go. We made a mistake. We got it wrong. We're sorry. Let's do the redraw. Let's play ball, basically. Let's make our own Champions League, guys. This is so fixed. Super League 2.0, says Florentino Perez. Wait for UEFA to acknowledge the error but not redraw, says Joseph. Ollie to Everton, says Fabian. Not a chance. Not a chance. We can't get buy-in, so I wouldn't worry about that. There'll probably be another mistake in the Conference League draw. Leicester versus Spurs mistake, like Barcelona versus Salford and Champions League mistake. So when will this draw actually take place? I suppose that's the big thing, because is there a Conference League draw to be done? I don't know. So I'm sort of like now in the position of like, I suppose we just wait and see. I'm not going to stay live forever. We'll wait and see what happens. It's not that we can't beat PSG. This is the biggest competition. How can they mess it up? Shambles. Yeah, I'm still live. I need a piss and I want to have some dinner. Make sure you subscribe, bottom right hand corner. I'm going to have to stop the draw anyway and start a new one when they get that confirmed. So Conference League's at 1 p.m. David Ornstein talking about Ollie to go to that. Okay. Real Madrid have told UEFA that they must maintain their clash with Benfica as the errors in the draw happened after that draw. Of course. It's like bloody Red Bull all over again. Madness. Okay, well look, we don't know what's happening at the moment. I'm desperate for a piss. I've been live for ages. Could you wish my dog Dobby a happy birthday? Thomas, happy birthday to your dog. It's not that we can't beat PSG. This is the biggest competition. How can they mess it up? It's a shambles, says Rahul. There is a Conference League draw happening at 1 o'clock. So we're not going to get another Champions League draw any time before sort of 1:30 anyway. So I propose we'll probably go off and have a piss and something to eat, because I'm starving. But what I just want to say this very, very clearly, because we will have some people who are watching who are not United fans. Please understand that as a United fan, I would rather have got Salzburg than PSG. Please understand that, you know, it's a bit of a coincidence that we get Ronaldo versus Messi when there was a less than 20% chance that we would get PSG, and for how many years in a row we're playing PSG again. That's disappointing that we get PSG. But that's not the point here. The point is we live in a world where authority is being questioned in loads of different areas, and you cannot have a draw that has been done evidentially to the world wrong and then say it's fine, because integrity and honesty is so important, and trust, and they've got it wrong on every single thing. You can't trust them when they've done it wrong. There's no integrity and it's not honest. They have to redraw it, and it's very disappointing if you're Liverpool because you've got Salzburg, or Chelsea because you've got Lille. But the reality is they've got the draw wrong, it lacks integrity, and they have to redo it. And that is why I believe it will be redone at some point. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm sure it will get confirmed very, very soon. If they do the redraw, we will be live for the redraw. And we will probably therefore be live in the next hour or so. But for now, I'm going to stop the stream, take a leak, have something to eat. The Conference League draw is happening at 1 o'clock, so we're not going to get the Champions League at 1 o'clock, which is what I was thinking we might get. But we will go back live as soon as it's confirmed. So thank you everyone for watching. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. We've got an interview with Romano this afternoon. We've got the preview for Brentford. It's all going off. It's not the day I thought it was going to be. We'll see what happens, but I think we will get a redraw. I predicted that way before anybody else did, and I think a lot of you did in the chat did. When you haven't got the integrity of the draw, it's an invalid draw. You have to do it again. Simple as that. UEFA couldn't afford people to sort out due to Barcelona and pay the bribes. So I don't know. Okay. We'll see you again very, very soon. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully we're going to be back in the next hour with a new draw.